My name is Jim Roberts, and with me is firefighter Kathy Sweeney. I've been a volunteer firefighter in the town of South Kingstown for over 15 years. I'll tell you, there have been times that getting out of bed in the middle of the night and responding to an alarm was the last thing that I wanted to do. But I do respond, like many of the 150 volunteer firefighters in the town of South Kingstown. We're a family with the sole mission of protecting the lives and the property of the people who live in this community.
In this video, you will see us respond to actual life-threatening circumstances, trained to prepare ourselves for those moments, and when we can, enjoy the company of our fellow firefighters.
It's not for everyone, but if you think it might be for you, let us know. We just might have a position available.
A fire doesn't really care about the property it destroys. It just rips through the structure, many times without warning, striking whatever's in its way. The Peacedale Congregational Church became one of its victims in the summer of 1983. Several $100,000 of damage occurred as a result of this fire. Here in the town of South Kingstown, with a population of close to 25,000, volunteers joined together to stop the raging flames that threaten the property and the lives of those people that live in the community. They risked their lives because they know it could someday be their home or loved ones that call out for the help of a firefighter. Another victim to the peril of fire was the Kingston train station. Fire companies from several neighboring villages responded with over 50 volunteer firefighters on a cold winter day in 1988. Their mission, to stop the fire from destroying yet another historically significant landmark. After the flames and smoke were extinguished, it was evident the fire had taken its toll. But the building had survived, due again to the efforts of the dedicated firefighters. Here in Peacedale, volunteers from both the Union Fire District and the Kingston Fire District respond to a 1995 call in a large mill complex, hoping that fire can be contained. Structures of this size often present a wide range of exposures, requiring all personnel to be alert and ready for action. Communication of commands again and again become a key element in coordinating the efforts of individual departments. Actual code red situations are a reality, and when they occur, they are often highlighted by the media. But many people miss the training that takes place by the over 150 volunteers that make up the Union Fire District team. This exercise with a live fire is an invaluable training tool that allows the firefighters to practice under controlled conditions, a luxury not often afforded. Having capable leadership coordinating the training exercises is critical in maintaining a safe environment for the firefighters.
If you want, take somebody, you need a manpower officer. If you're going to break up your crews, you can break up your crews however you want. You can mix and match, you can come in by your own. You can get your green people in, you can get your veterans in.
My job is going to be safety inside when the firefighters making their attack. Make sure that everyone's doing the proper procedures, no one's life's in danger, and make sure we got enough water in the building.
Now, what are some of the things you're going to do to make sure that no one's life is in danger?
I'm going to stay on the ground to protect my own safety and keep an eye on both lines if I can. Keep an eye on the fire, make sure that it doesn't get too hot and the guys don't endanger themselves.
Here in the Union Fire District, the leaders are seasoned veterans, many with 25 or more years of dedicated service to their community. Although blistering flames are often responsible for death and destruction, another peril exists that can be just as threatening. Here, a vacant cottage is used to expose firefighters to the peril of smoke, an element that often hinders the search for disabled persons. It's an easy task closing your eyes and negotiating a room that is familiar to you, but making it through an unfamiliar house with a 30-pound breathing apparatus strapped to your back and carrying a cumbersome hose line is a different story. Another important training exercise in the Union Fire District involves the use of portable tanks, which provide a source of water when fire hydrants are not available. Tanker trucks are used to shuttle water into these portable units and replenish the supply so the firefighters can extinguish the potential flames. Here in West Kingston at the Arnold Lumber Facility, firefighters test their skills in the event an actual fire should occur. This 1993 drill brought together 20 fire departments, 40 pieces of fire apparatus, and over 100 volunteers. These volunteers in South Kingstown not only train to fight fires, but also learn the skill of extrication. In this exercise, a simulated car accident has taken place and an individual is trapped in a vehicle. Firefighters, also acting as rescue personnel, attempt to free the victim. The jaws of life become a valuable tool in their efforts to cut the wreckage away from the trapped victim. Once access is made, the individual is stabilized, lifted from the vehicle, and transported to emergency care.
How do you think we did?
A little longer than it should have.
Okay. All right.
What was the time?
I didn't dare to time you. All righty. Only because I know personally it takes us, like I told you first class, an average of 30 minutes. We want to have our average be 10 or 15 minutes, but it takes time. You're not expert technicians overnight. The whole idea to make a scene safety is to make a complete loop around the vehicle. In this case, a little difficult, but I would have come all the way around
Even climbed up on a couple of rocks and going back the other way to make sure you covered all points. If you can get all the way around there, you can recognize little things like the bucket's empty. The bucket's empty, and in this case it was soap. You recognize this is where the 4-hour hazardous material alert awareness course comes in, all right, to be able to recognize this stuff.
Other rescue missions are often during seasons when different skills altogether are required. The Union Fire District has always been viewed as a talented group of pioneering volunteers. It was during the 1960s that, under the leadership of Chief Bob Asher, a technique was developed for use in ice rescues that had never been seen before. The development of the surfboard, modified into a rescue board, would later become recognized throughout the nation and revolutionize the approach to ice rescues. Today, exercises in ice rescue are still an integral part of the Union Fire District's training schedule. Several times a year, firefighters are called to test their skills on the ice in the cold waters of local lakes, ponds, and rivers. The Union Fire District is also equipped with a dive team that responds to water-related rescues, searches, and recoveries. In this situation, a vehicle drove off the road onto a down ramp used for launching boats and into 6 feet of water. Fortunately, there were no serious injuries. Carefully, a hook is placed on the rear end of the vehicle and the car is towed to shore. With proper certification, all members of the district have the opportunity to join the dive team. Volunteer firefighters are also involved in educating our children. Here at Matunic School, safety instructor Ray Bouchard teaches a group of young students not to play with matches and instructs them what to do if a fire should start.
Matches, yep, fire, matches, cigarette lighters, candles. Sometimes you can find fireworks on the ground. You never touch those. You never touch gas, okay? What should you do if you find these things outside, like in the playground? Go get a grown-up, that's right, or a good helper, right? Does everybody know what a good helper is?
Or your babysitter.
Yep, babysitters, older brothers and sisters, firefighters, policemen, teachers. Those are all good helpers.
Emphasis is also placed on making our children aware that the firefighter is there to help and not to hide from.
Should you hide from the firefighter? No. What about under your bed?
No.
What about the closet?
No.
No, you shouldn't hide.
You need to know where you are.
Right, when you hear the firefighters, you should go right to them.
Sharing knowledge with our children and making more of our adult community aware of the firefighters' role in protecting our property and lives give us all a better understanding of what it means to have well-trained firefighters.
You're welcome.
Being a volunteer firefighter would not be the same if it wasn't for that friendly competition among departments. Here at Old Mountain Field in Wakefield, departments from all over New England join in the fun. Whether it be competing in the dry hose and nozzle event or the protective clothing drill, the muster objectives remain the same. To show the competition, the team is ready for action. Learning to work as a team is what firefighter training is all about. Of course, the highlight of the muster is competition between fire companies and the pumping of their hand tubs. Restored 150-year-old firefighting hand tubs battle to determine which crew can pump the hardest and produce enough water pressure to outspray the other team. The Aberdeen hand pumper of South Kingstown is again the favorite of local departments. Here, longtime foremans Roy Madison and Brian Ballou prepare their crew to pump away. Every year, another competitive event occurs. This time, however, it's on the golf course, competing to win the coveted South Kingstown Firefighters Annual Golf Tournament Awards. Members from all stations again test their skills. Some players are low handicappers that live to play the game of golf. And then there are those who just come out to have a good time. On the course, however, it's complete concentration, knowing the competition is fierce. Regardless of which team wins, a steak dinner follows the match, which to many is the highlight of the day. And of course, in the end, the champions of the tournament are recognized with the awards they so justly deserve.
Now we have the Hackers Trophy. If you guys can swap. Hackers Trophy goes to Paul Broder, Jeff Dyer, Paul Evans, and Jimmy Roberts. West Kingston, where are you?
Another event that gathers members from all stations is the game of softball. Here, those members from different departments join forces to battle a team of both current and past professional football and hockey players. Little did the pros realize, but they were to face a group of seasoned softball players. The pros sent their biggest and strongest players to the plate, and the SK Firefighters sent in theirs. They brought in their leanest and meanest, and again, the firefighters matched their skills. In this competition, the South Kingstown Firefighters triumphed over the pros. Recreation is a big part of a volunteer firefighter's pastime, for it is team play that strengthens and prepares them for their rescue missions. Yet there is also a time to celebrate and give thanks to those firefighters that have dedicated their lives to the protection of others. Each September, the annual Firefighters Memorial Parade takes place on the streets in South Kingstown. Fire companies from all over the state attend this gala event, bringing apparatus of all sizes and capabilities. Colonial bands play their traditional instruments and songs, while other talented performers wheel their way along. Both state and local officials join in the celebration. Here, the Tower Hill Volunteer Fire Department, led by Captain Jimmy Simonelli, proudly passes by the reviewing stand. The Peacedale Volunteer Fire Department, led by Captain Tim Redmond, also gives the command of eyes right to the outside columns as they march by the stand. As you can see, tradition is a major part of the firefighter's life. The history of the Union Fire District actually began with the Narragansett Steam Fire Engine Company No. 1 of Peacedale back in 1867. Here, another longtime fire company, the Wakefield Fire Department, appears in a 1938 parade, dressed in uniform and proud of who they are and the community they protect. In 1994, the Wakefield Fire Department is seen again, this time celebrating their 100th anniversary. Kathy Sweeney, the department president, recognizes some of those members that have given something very special to their community, themselves. Former Chief Bob Asher is recognized with 50 years of dedicated service. Lou Stelgis, 50 years. Jack Hamilton, former Chief Frank Smith, and Frank Hilton, 40 years of service. And former Deputy Chief Bill Gates with 35 years of service. A generation before us. A lifetime of friends and family. These firefighters in South Kingstown unselfishly serving their neighbors so they may live safer lives.
Having people that are willing to volunteer their time for the good of their community is what makes a community strong. But being a volunteer firefighter, there's nothing better. See you soon.